Hey there, thanks for making time to watch this video as we talk about rhythm for hitters, a term I hear often. Spend some time on hitting Twitter and you will probably see rhythm mentioned here and there, but I think often it's mentioned without any meaning behind it, what it actually means, how we can improve it, okay? And in those instances, it just becomes a buzzword. You got to have rhythm, but no one's actually going to tell you what it means, how to do it, and what happens if you don't have any. So let's get into some topics. Let's define it. What is rhythm? What does it look like? What would happen if you didn't have any rhythm? How does rhythm help you as a hitter or as a hitting coach? How can you help your hitters? And then how you can improve it, perhaps the most important part of the video. So let's dive into what rhythm is and start with a broader definition. Rhythm is the way we move, and there's an asterisk there. We'll come back to that asterisk. It's important, okay? The way we move. Start there, gotta have rhythm, okay? And we're different, player to player. Style is personal, technique is universal. I think rhythm is a stylistic, personal part of hitting. Let's look at a more hitting-specific definition. It's movement in your stance that enables a seamless transition into your next move, okay? That's a definition for me. It might work for you, it might not. Hitting Twitter might tell me I'm wrong. Don't care, okay? Unless there's a better definition out there, I'm just gonna roll with this one, okay? And maybe it helps you, okay? So, movement in your stance. I like to think of the stance as a movement itself, okay? Not exclusive, but most of the time we do see hitters have some movement in their stance. And when we get static, we can get tight. When we get tight, we can't swing as fast, okay? So that's how I like to think about rhythm for a hitter, okay? The next move, load, gather, coil, whatever language you might use. Every hitter is going to do something after their stance. Every hitting coach is going to teach something after the stance, okay? Let's use, for the purpose of this video, the load. Okay, so rhythm is movement in your stance that helps you seamlessly transition into your load. Okay, what does that actually look like? Well, it's going to feature body control and back control. Ultimately, we can only move as much as we are strong, mobile, stable, flexible, coordinated. Okay, if we are not in control of our body, if we are not in control of our bat in our stance, then we shouldn't have much expectation of being in control of our body, being in control of our bat through the swing when things really start to become important, okay? That all-important time where contact is the measure of how well we've done everything else, okay? So I love movement, okay? But we can only move as much as we are strong, etc., okay? So if we think about a hitter like Gary Sheffield, big bat waggle, Barry Bonds, similar move. They exhibited body control and back control in those moves that allowed them, enabled them, permitted them to be in control later on through their swing, okay? If we don't have that kind of body control, that kind of back control, then we shouldn't exhibit such moves in our stance and we should tone down our rhythm. Okay, we're also going to see tension-free in our stance, okay? These moves that we'll see later, the moves of your favorite hitters, baseball or softball, doesn't matter. They generally look tension-free in their stance, okay? Good tension, where we eliminate some slack and generate some more energy to produce some more bat speed, comes later, okay? We're going to see that through stride separation. But generally speaking, in your stance, as you go through your rhythm, as you have some rhythm, as you create some rhythm, I think it's better to be tension-free. And your rhythm will match your load style. And again, I've mentioned there's other terms for this first move out of the stance, but we're using load today, okay? The best hitters I see, the rhythm, the moves they have in their stance match their load style. So let's look at some video. Junior Griff, one of the best all time, okay? Reasonably fast, okay? Under control for sure. There's some bat movement, but not too much of it. I think he looks tension-free, okay? The things I want to draw your attention to. Let's start with the feet. That move of the front heel, I would say, is rhythm, and it matches his load style, okay? That little lift of the heel up and down mirrors what happens next, okay? He can seamlessly transition into that little pickup of his front foot. Rizzo, slower than Griffey, Style is personal, okay? Similarly, though, we see that front heel lifting, and it's in a shape or direction that transitions seamlessly into his leg lift. We also see a move of the hands, okay, that transitions seamlessly. He's making the same shape with his hands in his stance with his rhythm that he does during his load. Trout. Again, we see that front foot, the heel off the ground in rhythm, okay, in the same direction, same shape as his leg lift. I'll also draw your attention to Trout's hands. The shapes he's making in his stance are similar to the shape he makes as he eventually loads his hands. Okay, so if we make that sort of shape as we load our hands, it makes sense to move in the same shape in our stance. That's rhythm. Okay, if we load our hands like this, it makes sense to move in the same shape, finding a speed, a tempo that works for us. If we move this way in our stance, that's our rhythm, it's going to be hard to then move with this sort of movement in our load. Okay, we want our rhythm to match our load style. And one more for you. Zobrist, much faster than the rest. Style is personal. But again, we see the shape his hands make, that little circle, transitions into a load shape that is the same. Okay, style is personal. Technique is universal. Find some rhythm, find some shapes, find some speeds that work for you as it relates to loading. We want a seamless move from rhythm into load. So, what would happen if we didn't have rhythm? Okay, as a hitter, you've got no rhythm. As a coach, you're not helping facilitate rhythm within your hitters. Okay, what would happen? It may be harder to have good tempo. There's another asterisk there. We're going to come back to it. It may be harder to have good timing. Why may? Why am I not saying you're not going to have good tempo? You're not going to have good timing, because there's no always or nevers in baseball. Okay? An example of what you might term a dead starter, Moises Alou. There's virtually no movement in that stance, no rhythm in the way that I'm describing it here. Okay, maybe a little bit of a tip of the bat over his shoulder before he goes. Okay, and established big leaguer, had a great career. Okay, there's no always or nevers. So you may have a struggle with your tempo. You may have a struggle with your timing if you don't have rhythm, but it's not conclusive. Okay, it's something to play with. How does rhythm help me? Well, let's turn those things around. Okay, it may be easier to create good tempo, and it may be easier to create good timing, okay? And those are things we don't want to let be accidents. Timing shouldn't be an accident for an elite hitter, okay? And I think rhythm can help you with your timing. Remember, rhythm is movement in your stance that enables a seamless transition into your next move, okay? Let's come back to those asterisks to really dial in how rhythm can help you. Rhythm is the way we move. Tempo is how fast we move. Timing is when we move. And a big hat tip to Billy Boyer, world-class infield coach. These are definitions from him, and we can, of course, apply these definitions to infield play. We're just doing it for hitting here. And I think the more we can access the same language across phases of the game, the more simple the game is going to be for you players and for you coaches to help your players. Okay, so rhythm is the way we move, and hitting specific, we're talking about a move in your stance that enables a seamless transition into your next move. Tempo, how fast we move, timing, when we move, okay? And there isn't a hitting coach in the world that's not going to say timing is one of the most important parts of hitting, okay? So think of yourself as a hitter here. Even if you're a coach, you've been there. We're striving for that feeling where it's seamless. From start to finish, it feels seamless. One part of your swing flows right into the next. It might be described as effortless instead of seamless. And we have that feeling with regards to tempo when it's off. We start to move faster than we know is ideal because we have to sell some time. We've got to tighten up our hand path or make some kind of adjustment to our tempo because we're off time. Okay? Or we've got to slow things down. We've got to buy some time. We've got to lengthen out our stride. We've got to sink into our front side. Find a way to buy some time because we are ahead of the pitch, okay? So as hitters and as hitting coaches, we're familiar with tempo and timing, okay? Rhythm, I think, just helps with those things. Having some movement in our stance sets us up to have better tempo and better timing, okay? Again, timing shouldn't be an accident, okay? What we do with our eyes to create timing shouldn't be an accident. So why should we let what we do in our stance with our rhythm be an accident? Find a move that's going to help you really feel, be cognizant of, attune yourself to the sort of tempo that works and attune yourself to the sort of tempo that doesn't work, being aware of those adjustments so that we can make them more effectively, and hopefully so that we don't need to make those adjustments so often because our timing is on more often than it might currently be, okay? Most important, maybe this is why you're here. How do you actually improve your rhythm? Well, the first thing is you have to nail down your load style. We said that rhythm is a movement in your stance that enables a seamless transition into your load, into your next move. If you don't know what that move is, then what you do with your rhythm in your stance is a complete accident, okay? We might end up with a load that's in this direction, but our hands are working in a different direction, okay? Or a move of our front foot that's more suited to a leg kick when we don't have a leg kick, okay? So the first thing you have to do to improve your rhythm is know how you load, okay? The next thing, imitation station. So in your practice, you've got a T station, a soft toss station, a machine station, a live station, a mental game station, a vision station, whatever you have. Why not include as well or incorporated within those types of practice, imitation station? What hitters, big league hitters, elite softball hitters, have a rhythm, have movements that you'd like to try, or you already have identified those are similar to what I do, okay? And we're going to practice those. As coaches, why not give your players some elite hitters to emulate, to imitate, to help them discover their own way? Okay, and ultimately that leads into my biggest advice. It's just experiment. Experiment with different loads, experiment with different strides, experiment with different movements in your stance, your rhythm. Okay, experiment, 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 and find what will work for you. Okay, to wrap this up, rhythm, movement in your stance that enables a seamless transition into your load. Find something that works for you, okay? Play with things until you nail it. As coaches, encourage your players to experiment, to emulate, to imitate, to help them find their own way, okay? Where do we go from here? Well, there's so many different things, but let's touch back on timing, okay, which we've said all coaches are going to agree that it's one of the most important parts of hitting, okay? Timing should not be an accident. So neither should what we do with our eyes be an accident. Those are things we need to get into. And anytime we're going to practice anything related to vision and timing, surely we are in our stance, okay, where we need to have rhythm, okay? We set ourselves up for success by really nailing down what happens at the beginning of the swing, okay? Hope you found something useful. Hope you found something that you can go away and play with. If you disagree with everything, that's fine for me, as long as that you are conscious of why and you're thinking through this and thinking, you know what, I think this definition, this application applies way more than does what Liam said in this video. Okay, as long as you're taking something, then I am happy. Okay, thanks again for taking the time, and I wish you all the best. Bye.